White and Rosy Red while she slept, and took away her babe, and threw it into a pit full of snakes. After that she cut Snow White and Rosy Red in the finger, and smeared the blood over her mouth, and went straight to the king. "Now come and see," she said, "what sort of a thing you have taken for your queen. Here she has eaten up her own babe." Then the king was so downcast he almost burst into tears, and said, "Yes, it must be true, since I see it with my own eyes, but she'll not do it again, I'm sure, and so this time I'll spare her life." So before the next year was out she had another son, and the same thing happened. The king's stepmother got more and more jealous and spiteful. She stole into the young queen at night while she slept, took away the babe, and threw it into a pit full of snakes, cut the young queen's finger, and smeared the blood over her mouth, and then went and told the king she had eaten up her own child. Then the king was so sorrowful, you can think how sorry he was, and he said, "Yes, it must be true, since I see it with my own eyes, but she'll not do it again, I'm sure, and so this time too I'll spare her life." Well, before the next year was out, Snow White and Rosy Red brought a daughter into the world, and her too the old queen took and threw into the pit full of snakes while the young queen slept. Then she cut her finger, smeared the blood over her mouth, and went again to the king and said, "Now you may come and see if it isn't as I say. She's a wicked, wicked witch, for here she has gone and eaten up her third babe too." Then the king was so sad there was no end to it, for now he couldn't spare her any longer, but had to order her to be burnt alive on a pile of wood. But just when the pile was all ablaze and they were going to put her on it, she made signs to them to take 12 boards and lay them round the pile, and on these she laid the neckerchiefs and the shirts and the coats for her brothers. But the youngest brother's shirt wanted its left arm, for she hadn't had time to finish it. And as soon as ever she had done that, they heard such a flapping and whirring in the air, and down came 12 wild ducks, flying over the forest, and each of them snapped up his clothes in his bill and flew off with them. "See now," said the old queen to the king, "wasn't I right when I told you she was a witch? But make haste and burn her before the pile burns low." "Oh," said the king, "we have wood enough and to spare, and so I'll wait a bit, for I have a mind to see what the end of all this will be." As he spoke, up came the 12 princes riding along, as handsome well-grown lads as you'd wish to see. But the youngest prince had a wild duck's wing instead of his left arm. "What's all this about?" asked the princes. "My queen is to be burnt," said the king, "because she's a witch, and because she has eaten up her own babes." "She hasn't eaten them at all," said the princess. "Speak now, sister. You have set us free and saved us. Now save yourself." Then Snow White and Rosy Red spoke, and told the whole story, how every time she was brought to bed, the old queen, the king's stepmother, had stolen into her at night, had taken away her babes away, and cut her little finger, and smeared the blood over her mouth. And then the princess took the king, and shewed him the snake pit, where 3 babies lay playing with adders and toads, and lovelier children you never saw. So the king had them taken out at once, and went to his stepmother, and asked her what punishment she thought that woman deserved who could find it in her heart to betray a guiltless queen and 3 such blessed little babes. "She deserves to be fast bound between 12 unbroken steeds, so that each may take his share of her," said the old queen. "You have spoken your own doom," said the king, "and you shall suffer it at once." So the wicked old queen was fast bound between 12 unbroken steeds, and each got his share of her. But the king took Snow White and Rosy Red and their 3 children and the 12 princes, and so they all went home to their father and mother, and told all that had befallen them, and there was joy and gladness over the whole kingdom, because the princess was saved and set free, and because she had set free her 12 brothers. End of section 15.